Hello, I'm Bill Shoke, President and CEO of WestPay. Welcome to the Payments Perspective Podcast, where we help you to navigate your payments journey one episode at a time. We bring together industry leaders to discuss timely and relevant payments topics and explore the most important issues impacting our industry. The Payments Perspective Podcast is brought to you by WestPay, where our mission is to build and share knowledge to guide members through their payments journey, from concept to operation.
Welcome to the Payments Perspective Podcast by WestPay. My name is Connie LaChance. I am a VP of Education and Events at WestPay. And today I am pleased to welcome Ashley Mastico. She is a Director of Education and Accreditation from NACHA. And our topic today is actually on payments accreditation. So Ashley, welcome to today's podcast. And I'd like to give you a moment to go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Connie. I'm really excited to be here. As she said, I am the Director of Education and Accreditation here at NACHA. If you are unfamiliar, NACHA is the company associated with governing the ACH network. We also develop the rules and the standards associated with the ACH network and deliver education and accreditation associated with that. I am an AP or an AAP and an APRP. I have been since 2020. And I am also an active participant on our AAP Blue Ribbon panel and our APRP Oversight panel. So I'm very excited to be here today to talk to you about these programs.
Thank you so much. And, I'm an AAP and an APRP too. And I have one additional accreditation as well, NCP, which we will talk about today also. So I was kind of, mulling it over as to how we could introduce these different types of payments accreditations that are available to folks in the financial industry. So, really, whether you're at an institution, financial institution, or maybe you're in the payments industry itself, you might be a vendor or somebody else that assists an institution with regards to payments, right? This is available to all of us. So I thought maybe the best way we could talk about each of these is to start from the beginning and really talk about what was the very first accreditation that came out. So I'm going to put it to you, Ashley, and have you talk about the AAP. So if you could tell us a little bit about when did the AAP first come around and what time of the year is it offered? What is it? Like, who would be interested in taking the AAP?
You bet. Yeah. So the AAP has been around for quite some time. We offered our first AAP exam in 1993. Since then, we have accredited over 4,200 professionals. Over 4,200 people hold the AAP accreditation, and that stands for Accredited ACH Professional. We are hoping, because our testing window is actually in October, to even grow that number next month. We're very excited about that. Generally speaking, the registration period opens from December until September, and then we go right into that testing window in October. And when I think about an AAP and who an AAP is, somebody who holds their AAP is an expert in the ACH network. They really have a comprehensive knowledge of all areas of ACH, and that includes the various payment systems that interact with ACH. So when I think about, who would benefit best, anybody who touches the ACH network, but particularly I think these are your boots on the ground people. These are your operations professionals. These are the people who are creating or reviewing your ACH files. And these are the people who are really in it when it comes to ACH processing.
I agree. Personally, from my own experience, I got my AAP back in 2007, and I hear back in 1993. I think it was pen to paper, right? Much easier nowadays to get your AAP. But in my own personal experience, it really was very beneficial to have that designation at your organization because people look to you for your expertise, and you can really make a lot of good, put a lot of insight into projects as well as reducing risks at your organization, right? And helping, do things like onboarding services and whatnot. So Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
always say that it puts almost like a stamp of approval on the knowledge that you have.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. You have those three little letters right after your name. People look to you for answers, and they guarantee you they will come to you for some answers once they know that you have your accreditation. So yeah, so great, thank you. And so that was what did you say that was 1993? That's
Yeah.
amazing. It's been, gosh, what is that? I have to do my math, right? 30
30
years.
years. Yeah.
30 years that the AAP has been around.
That
So
means it's
that's,
celebrating its 30th birthday next
it
month. We should
will
give it a
be.
present.
That's right. 30 years of AAP. That's great. So, the next accreditation, though, it probably hasn't been around as long as the AAP. However, I would say that this payments channel has been around much longer than the ACH network. So this next payments accreditation is around checks. So we all know checks have been around forever. And, there's a lot of talk about checks going away, but that's not happening, right? We are seeing a downtrend in checks, but checks they're still alive and kicking. And so in 2011 is when our friends over at ECHO, which is the Electronic Check Clearinghouse organization, they are a part of the clearinghouse. They developed an accreditation for those check professionals. And so it is the NCP, it is the National Check Professionals accreditation. And their goal here was because what they're seeing in the check network is, and I'm sure this the same too, right, in the ACH network as well, it's been around for a really long time. People are retiring, right, from checks. They're or moving on to other things in their own professional careers, and so they're seeing a lot of loss of institutional knowledge around checks. And so that is creating a deficiency with their ability to combat risk associated with checks, especially around fraud. Because unfortunately, while check volume is decreasing, we're seeing a lot of increase in check fraud. So they have this NCP program now that provides some solutions to help develop knowledge around checks. And once again, just like the AAP, right, it gives this designation and it shows that this individual has a lot of knowledge around checks, and they can be that key player at your institution or organization with regards to handling checks or offering check solutions. And so this accreditation, as I mentioned, has been around since 2011. So they're just going on 12 years old, right? So nothing in comparison to the AAP. And just this year, they added another 100 new NCPs to their list of growing NCPs. So they currently have 945 NCPs in the payments industry. And so their exam has already happened for this year. And they always do their exams in like early spring. So they're actually their testing window, or to be able to register for the exam, is actually open now, and they'll begin their testing window in April of next year. So it runs from like April the 20th to about mid-May of 2024. So definitely a nice little addition, I think, to an AAP designation, and I think it's really important too because. You'll probably see this a lot as well, is that many folks wear multiple hats at an institution. So they need to know ACH, they need to know checks, they need to know a lot of things. So with that said, in addition to those two payments channels, there's also another designation you currently offer at NACHA that folks can also what am I thinking?
They can sit for, so that way they can become accredited. Yes.
So that they can become accredited as well and add on an additional designation. Can you tell me a little bit more about that particular one?
Yeah, and this one is a little bit younger than the ones that we've already talked about. This is our Accredited Payments Risk Professional program, or APRP for short. And that was first offered in 2018. And this one is geared towards your risk professionals. So I think with both the NCP and the ACH, that was really focused on the inner workings of those two rails, where this one is focused on risk management really as a whole, as it pertains to ACH, check, wire, cards, all of those different things that touch the payments ecosystem. Registration for that accreditation is also opening in December. So just like the AAP, the APRP also opens in December and then runs through to July. And then we have a testing window in August. So we just had a testing window. I don't know the exact number we added, but we are now over 800 APRPs. I think we're closer to 850, which is very, very cool to see for such a young accreditation.
And I think, and it is important that risk goes right across channel.
Oh yeah.
It is not siloed in one particular area. So it's important for folks to understand those risks as they relate to every payments channel that touches them in the industry.
Yeah, and risk is getting so complex because there's always going to be bad actors out there. And as the payment system evolves, they're evolving with it. So it's one of those things that it's not a set it and forget it type of thing to learn. It really is constantly evolving. And so even the continuing education that goes along with maintaining this accreditation is so valuable to people's work and what they're doing every day.
Yeah, we like to call it the risk appetite, right? Yeah. What's your risk appetite? What are you willing to take on at your institution? And I think if you have somebody that's well versed in the different types of risks and how they can affect you as an institution or an organization, that really helps you decide, what we're going to do, strategically, right? Operationally, all those different areas come into play.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I am an APRP as well. And I think I was one of those, we did the pilot exam that first year that we took that exam. I know it's changed over time, and we'll talk about those exams here in just a moment. But I did want to just stop because I know you guys are looking at offering another accreditation for folks to kind of really come into what's happening in the industry today. We're continually evolving in our industry, in our payments industry. So you guys have something for folks as we continue to evolve in payments.
Oh, for sure. So, like I said, the APRP was offered first in 2018. And if you think about how much payments has changed just from 2018 to 2023, it really is phenomenal to see where we were, where we've come, all the new emerging payments trends, and even just how quickly we're able to process these days. So when we looked at that, we sat down and we really saw a need for what we're calling the Accredited Faster Payments Professional Program. So this is going to be a program that's offered in 2025 that is going to be for anybody who works in the faster payments space. So these are going to be your innovation team members, your strategists, and anybody who's really moving that space forward, because it is moving forward so quickly. Even just since the pandemic, to see how far faster payments has evolved has really, really been impressive. So this is going to go over your faster payments foundations, functionality of faster payments. And then obviously, in order to be an expert in faster payments, you really need to understand the risk implications, the legal implications, the type of fraud that surrounds those payment systems, and then the operational aspects of what makes them run. So if your job pertains to any of those pieces, looking into the Accredited Faster Payments Professional Program is, I think, going to be or should be a priority for you as you look at what your career is going to look like, in the next couple of years.
So we're talking faster payments related to, right, ACH. We've got card push to card payments out there. We've got real-time payments network and FedNow.
Yeah.
Right? Those newer, faster and instant payment type networks out there. So yeah, I think that's really important because that's kind of where we're going. And
Oh
so
yeah.
we need to make sure we have our folks ready for that. So when you think about these exams in general, are they the same? Are they all kind? How do they work? So if I was going to sit for an exam, what would I expect around taking that exam, as well as what should I potentially prepare for? Like, how do I prepare myself to one, sit for the exam, and then what would I expect to see or do when I go to take this exam?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think probably the one that we hear most often from potential test takers. Um, the exams themselves are similar in the sense that I mean they all require, in order to be accredited for any of these, you really need to be an expert in the ACH network. They all have a foundation of having a really comprehensive understanding of the ACH network and the various payment systems. So for any of the ones that NACHA offers, we do require 1 year, at least 1 year in the payments industry, and we recommend at least two, to really make sure that you understand the ins, the outs, and that you have that solid foundation on which to build. In terms of how they're different, really, the scopes of them are different. So where you're finding your expertise within the payments industry will really drive where you start your accreditation journey. Like I mentioned a little bit previously, if you are operations, boots on the ground, you are really the one that's in the nitty gritty of making these files move. That's a really great place to have AAP be your launching point. If you are risk based, so you're thinking security, compliance, risk management, APRP is a perfect opportunity for you to get your feet wet, so to speak, with the NACHA accreditation program. And then obviously, if you are in that higher level, how are we thinking about faster payments? How are we integrating them into the products that we already offer? How are we going to roll them out to our customers so that way it's seamless for them? That would really be where you want to look at pursuing that AFPP, which again is offered in 2025. So you do have time to pursue one of the others before you sit for the AFPP if you wanted to.
It's funny because you mentioned your payments journey, and it is, right? It is a journey, and we've got to be able to sustain ourselves on that journey. So when you think about it, to take these types of exams and to get educated around these different areas of payments, I think it really helps us in the future, looking forward to things. So, and similar with, NCP, it is basically, at least 1 to 2 years. You got to kind of have that ground, that base level of knowledge before you actually jump in to some of these accreditations. So that you at least understand, because I think when you're doing the prep work for it, it's not going to be a basic prep. Here's the basics, right? It's going to be a little bit more high level. So you definitely want to make sure you've got some, a good basic understanding of that, of different types
For
of channels.
sure. When you're talking, Connie, about prep work, I mean, I think one of the really great things about all of these accreditations is that it's not just NACHA. I mean, we're partnering with some of the best in the industry. We're partnering with our payments associations for the AFPP. We have a really strong partnership with the U.S. Faster Payments Council. So when we're looking at crafting these, and when we're looking at the type of education that, or the type of stamp of approval I used earlier, when the type of stamp of approval that you're putting at the back of your name, when you add these letters to the back of your name, it really means something special in the industry, and it means something important, because I mean, these are industry experts who have crafted, these exams and these training courses, and it really is going to be something that moves your career forward. It's going to propel it forward.
Yourself when you put those initials, not three, right? AFP. Some of them have four. But you can just pat yourself on the back too when because that's an accomplishment.
It is
to be able to take these exams and get these accreditations. Like you said, it really does speak to your knowledge and that you're an expert. So,
and this is not easy stuff. I mean, you asked a little earlier, how to prepare for these exams. What's the best way to go about it? And, there are a bunch of resources and tools that will be available to test takers. I'd say the first thing that you should do to prepare yourself to take this exam, as simple as it sounds, is register for the exam. Get yourself there, get yourself registered, and bring yourself to the table. Once you're at the table, get connected with your payments association. The payments associations have amazing prep courses. They have amazing tools. And we have done the research at NACHA to show that if you take a prep course with your payments association, you are 70% more likely to pass the AAP or the APRP exam. And we expect, very similar results when we start testing for the AFPP. So what the payments associations are offering is really invaluable when it comes to getting those credentials at the end of your name. We also at NACHA offer what's called a buddy program, where you can buddy up with somebody who has recently passed the exams to talk about what they did, what helped them be successful, what worked, what didn't work, so you can start crafting out how you are going to prepare yourself to sit for those exams. Once you register, you're also going to get a handbook from NACHA, whether it's for the AAP or the APRP or soon to be the AFPP. You're going to get that handbook, which is going to guide you through how you want to go ahead and start preparing for that exam. And there'll be practice exams in the back. And then NACHA also offers, in conjunction with the payments associations or with the support of the payments associations, an event called TPI, which is either on campus, which is where you go to a location and you have a university style training over the course of a couple of days to prepare for these exams, or homeschool, where it's virtual. And we bring in the industry experts from all the payments associations, and they just help train you up and teach you more about the payments systems, so that way you can be prepared to sit for these exams.
As much as you can do, I think, really, because there's lots of other products too. Like there's other products out there, other little study tools and things that can be available that folks can find from their payments associations as well. WestPay, we have a number of little tools there, plus the prep courses and whatnot. So it's like wherever you can find a place to find the education, like that's going to be probably your best bet, is to find those resources to help you. And and people, right? Other people that have achieve that accreditation. So I think that's wonderful. So, and
I'll be honest, the tools that you talk about, those are what helped me the most. I'm a good reader, but I'm not great at, reading large blocks of text and taking it in. So having those fun little tools that have been built were so invaluable to me. So it's great that you bring those up, because you're 100% correct.
Yeah. And I think probably the one thing that most people probably worry about is just testing anxiety, right? Like, as adults, we probably have not taken an exam in quite some time, right? And that's probably what we hear a lot. Folks are just like, oh my gosh, I got to take this test, right? So I think that's an area where it's like, don't worry about it. Just, it's okay, right? It's going to be fine. Just you study and you prepare, you're going to be fine, right?
Okay. I said to people we just finished up a round of TPI, and I said to those who will be sitting for the exam in October, I'm sure that you're going to knock it out of the park. But in the event that you find yourself in a situation where you do have to take this exam a second time, take a moment and realize how far you've come. Take a moment and think about, when you registered for this exam, how much did you know? How comfortable were you with this material, with the ACH network? And look at where you were when you sat. Even if you have to take it again, the amount of knowledge that you probably gained in that time it should blow you away, and you should be proud of yourself for it.
I agree. Right. So, how can somebody then contact NACHA if they're interested, or where can they find some information if they're interested in sitting or finding just some more information about these exams that you guys are offering?
Yeah,
or these
absolutely.
Accreditations, I should say.
So right on our website, nacha.org, you'll find a mega menu at the top that says education. Within there, you have information on the AAP exam, you have information on the APRP exam, and there's also information right now on faster payments. It's in certificate form right now. It will be moving to an accreditation, but you can find information on the faster payments professional certificate right there on our website. If you're looking for something more pointed, if you have a question that's not answered by our website, you can email at any time, education@nacha.org. That goes right to a real person. We'll take care of it, we'll answer it, and we will get you all squared away.
And for those that might be interested in the ECHO NCP accreditation, they too have their website. You can go to echo.org, find out information about their accreditations. We are going to have this information for you in our show notes. So we'll give you the information to link to Notch's information, and we'll make sure we have information out there as well with regards to the ECHO NCP accreditation. And of course, for our members, you can always contact us here at WestPay, and we'll be happy to guide you in those different accreditations and help put you on the right path as far as which accreditation is best for you and what you can do to prepare for that. All right. Well, thank you, Ashley. I guess that go team, right?
Yes, thank you, Connie. I really appreciate you having me on and giving me an opportunity to talk about everything.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's really important, and it's a great opportunity for folks to be able to seek out these accreditations, right? Not only for their institutions, like you said, but also for themselves. So
yeah, absolutely. It's very fulfilling.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Ashley, for joining us today. And like I said, if anyone would like to contact NACHA or ECHO, we're going to put that contact information available here in our podcast description. And so I also want to thank all of our members for listening in. For those that are not members of WestPay, if you are interested in becoming a member of WestPay, please visit our membership page by following the link that we also have in our show notes. And you, of course, can subscribe to the Payments Perspective podcast anywhere our podcasts are available. So please join us next time as we continue to work together in shaping the future of payments.